reflectors. I
There
guess.
is.
Okay.
There are websites with,
Okay.
Product placement, I guess they come.
you notice I was trying to put.
We
do some
were
plebs
both
for you
high
there.
fiving each other, yeah.
Did that on purpose.
You're doing a great job. You got some YouTube vid? I bet you do.
I don't.
You ought to.
Well,
You're really good
I
at
used to
this.
work in TV,
I was going to say.
but I directed news and commercials, so I was
Ah.
behind the scenes. But I've done in other work presentations for businesses and sales.
Did you work TV stations?
I worked at Channel 9 and Channel 7 here, and then
Oh,
when
you
I-
did? Oh, that's where you look familiar. Oh, how long
Well-
have you been going from?
Oh, I left there in
30?
79.
Oh,
And then I
Okay.
worked at Channel 10 in Tampa Bay for 2 years. It's an ABC affiliate. Well, they all changed in the 90s when they went HD. But after that, I sold the equipment. I, did other things.
right.
And then worked for other companies. But just to kind of recap this. Think of this as a miniature repeater. Little transceiver in there. You can set the power level here. For,
UHF, right? 440.
This one is UHF. It's like 430 to 47, whatever that
Right.
area is there. And I usually just pick a simplex frequency, and just as a little, the way I did it, you can set it up, see this section here? You could set it up to where you could have offsets if you wanted to.
Oh.
Like say if you had this at a repeater site, you may want to, there may be
Yeah.
reasons to do that.
I saw it even had power settings, which power can't vary that much.
Well, it's 12 milliwatts, and
Yeah.
I've got it set at 2.4, and I can put this, whatever handheld I'm using, on super low.
What kind of range would you get on that? Could you talk
Couple
out there?
blocks. Well,
say
they-
from your truck, easy?
Oh, yeah,
Oh, wow.
probably. Now,
Based
your
on-
building's
yeah,
a little
yeah.
unique.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if I could go through that metal vault.
Right.
But from normal in my house in my neighborhood, I've gone down, our lot's about, 60, 80 feet wide. That's the neighborhood. I've probably gone 4 or 5 houses, 200, 300 feet approximately, and held a signal. So yeah, walking around your house, no big deal. And what I do, if you have different radio modes like Fusion, DMR, and this, like in the evening, I'll sit here with the radios turned on, and then when I switch over to like Fusion, let's just do that now. You see, it remembers which mode, which frequency. You see, there's 433, and that's and it's a little convenience thing, because if I had all my radios on the same frequency, when I switched over from one to the other, all the radios would key up because it's an RF signal going in here. It'd be different mode because of the D-Star is different than Fusion and all. So it's just, and that's why mine are different if you see that.
Okay.
Let's go back real quick and see if my buddy Alan's out there. He was on 37 Charlie.
CF005.
And then it'll read back.
037 Charlie.
Safe. K9YI. K9YI. Alan, this is Mike. KG4 TGP. In our little group down there, when some of us travel in our travel trailers, RVs, we kind of stay in touch a little bit. I talked to Alan. He just happened to be in there at the time.
Yeah.
And then I emailed him and I said, I'm going to be down here about 9 o'clock. And he said, let's try. But we haven't used that 37 Charlie that much because,
You might have forgot that sign.
well, sometimes the repeaters are up and down a little bit.
Well, like when you keyed up right now, you have no idea. You could have brought up 50 repeaters in the country. You don't know, right? Can't tell.
Once again,
What's
I'm learning.
connected to.
I believe on D-Star, it's directly to that gateway and that
Okay.
repeater.
Okay.
That's one of the advantages at this point D-Star has. And if you're recording me, I'm subject to correction by any authority here. I'm just at where I'm at here, so remember that. D-Star, since it's been around longer and there's more work by individuals done on it, seems to have a little bit more functionality.
Okay.
But they tend to have more dropouts. Their bandwidth is half that of Fusion and DMR and P25. And if we get a good connection with Fusion, you'll see that it literally can sound better, and you have less dropouts. You notice there were some dropouts, and that kind of warble. Well, they call that R2D2.
Yeah.
That's what frustrates me about D-Star. There's a lot I like about it, but if you get into like a little rag chew session, or you want to listen to some guys in an extended conversation, is something you're interested in, almost always at some point you're going to miss something.
Okay.
So,
I'm interested in DMR, because I know there was only one reflector, if I was reading it right.
yeah, and that's
So
where.
I'm curious what we're doing on that reflector. Where
Well,
we're going.
okay, let me go back to Fusion now. I'm going to save that to last, because
Okay.
that's the one I don't, so I'm just going to turn this off here for now, just to save the battery a little bit. And then,
Oh, I do have what are you going back to now? Fusion?
I want to try Fusion now. So I click on that. Now in Fusion, now see over here on D-Star, you not only have reflector, and reflectors are basically here in the US. So you have 75 and then different categories. So there's a lot to it. Plus you have DCS and XRF. DCS and XRF are typically European. So think of that as a set of European gateways. And there's places on the internet where you can get a listing of all these numbers
Okay.
that tell you where they're located. Like in DMR, when we pull that up,
Right.
it'll actually tell you what country or what city and that kind
Okay.
of, excuse me. So go back to Fusion here. Fusion is set up, I believe number 2 is in Canada, number 3 is in Europe, in Germany, Uli said, and number 1, Uli, the guy that does the DV4 Mini,
Okay.
has at his office for the US here. So,
Gotcha.
I was playing around with this thing, so. There's somebody on your KXP. And you know on the Fusion radios, the DX button toggles you between FM and digital.
Okay, yeah.
But you can put it in automatic mode here too. So I'm gonna see where it says DN for digital narrow.
Right.
If I
And a
tap
flash
it again,
one,
somewhere in there. Okay, it's FM. That's it. It says FM, but it's got that little dash. And this is just how you. That means it will now
Automatic.
go automatic.
Okay.
So that's just your local guide there.
Right.
But let me get back over here to where it was going.
Oh, I can't imagine.
There we go. Digital now. All right. So now a calling frequency, a calling room for Fusion is 6. So I'm going to connect here. And of course, it tells you down here, and then gives me the read back there. Now a little bit, and when the guys wrote the software, they made things a little different depending on the mode. So you'll see some extra buttons and things like here. It says messages. It says I'm connected. Supposedly, those are all the guys that are logged in there now. And when I connected, see, now I'm in there. There's my call. And that just is in the buffer from where the guy was last time. It had nothing to do with D-Star.
And do we call it reflectors no matter what mode? Does everybody use the word reflector for
No, actually,
DMR?
there's gateways,
So they're kind of a little different.
reflectors.
Is reflector more D-Star?
Yes,
Okay.
gateways and reflectors are more D-Star terminology. Fusion are rooms.
Rooms, okay.
I'm trying to think. So
Oh, so let me see. So what you're telling, we're in one room right now, and on the
We're,
right
this,
are all
is
the
the,
calls.
this is the oldest standard one. Now, also, just real quick, to test my equipment, I can go down to 99, connect here.
This is like Parrot.
KG4, TGP, testing. Doing this the other day a little bit too. KG4 TGP test. Now, everything on the software is right, but why am I not hearing it?